Against an unbeaten team who seemed real hard to knock off, particularly there at home. Buffalo, the final unbeaten after the 4-0 Eagles, also were knocked off in Philly by Denver, which made it the first day in NFL history to feature multiple teams of 4-0 or better who both lost on that day. I'm going to get to Denver and Philly in a moment, but I'm interested in the perspective you all have of the way Coach Vrabel has done a 180 quickly with this New England team to get the very best out of the group. Swag?
I couldn't help but start thinking, what the hell was the Tennessee Titans? That's the first thing came to my mind, because we knew this is not new. We knew Mike Vrabel was a really good coach. And look, sometimes relationships sour. I'm being a little facetious with that. But you could see the demeanor of the New England Patriots last night. They knew that they could win the game. It wasn't like, hopefully some good things happen and we there in the end. It was aggressive. You talk about Drake May. It was aggressive down the field. It was throws that you expect guys that's been doing it for a long time in this league to make. And to your point, RC, you alluded to that. He's been playing this way the entire season, but not in this situation. Right. Not when you have to make play after play after play. And you respect the fact that 17 is on the other sideline. And you also have to go toe-to-toe. But it was a phenomenal performance by all. The offensive line did a great job at giving them time to push the ball down the field. They ran it well. But Drake May was the story of the night when it comes to him going toe-to-toe with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
You watch Josh, you watch Lamar. Those, to me, are the best off-platform guys at making ridiculous plays, although Mr. Mahomes is pretty ridiculous at it as well. But I didn't necessarily view May as being that type of guy to make the type of throws to Diggs that he did last night. Was that a little bit surprising that they were that level? Not to you.
I mean, to come to that level in that moment.
Okay.
Right? He's always shown the athleticism. We knew he had the arm strength. Listen, you don't get picked third overall in a draft that have Caleb Williams and Jayden Daniels, and you move on down the line to the Penix Juniors and the Bo Nix. We knew that he could play, but it's about having the confidence.
Yeah.
So many times it's a moment where you need to make that play and you don't feel like you have that long of a leash, or you don't feel like you'll have the opportunity to recoup it. But he's standing across the field from Josh Allen. Josh Allen is out making plays. He's running around, and you know you always have that threat on the other side of one of the greatest players in the world getting a football, driving their team and scoring, and you got to go do it. So to make the play to Stephon Diggs, then to throw to Boutte shows how far this man is.
And to thread the needle by exhausting almost all the clock. Because if there's 30 seconds, Baltimore saw what can happen. There just wasn't enough time.
This was the pinnacle of Mike Vrabel coach team. I mean, you saw a competitive team. You saw a team going into somebody's house who's 4-0, one of the best teams over the last 3 or 4 years, who wasn't afraid in the least. They competed physically. They were more disciplined. And when it mattered most, they made the plays. And not only was Drake May making the plays, he was being smart. They very underrated. They're third down and like 7 or whatever. They call a rollout with a minute left. If he tries to be aggressive there and throw it and falls incomplete, Josh Allen's getting that ball, and he's coming right back down to tie it up. He goes down. They get it back with like 14 seconds left. It was a very well done.
But, Scott,
Go ahead.
What you want to know, if you're Mike Vrabel, is do I have one of those guys?
Looks like it.
They found out last night.
All right, we on this show last week, and you on your podcast as well, gave descriptions of the most nitpicked 4-0 team we've ever seen, that being Philadelphia. Well, now they've got a 1 in the right-hand column. I found it very interesting that they did feed the wideouts. There were 18 targets to 6 and 11. I get it. Saquon only ran the ball 6 times. I found that a really odd recipe against a team that they had a lead against. I just can't imagine with that type of O-line that 6 carries for Saquon is the ideal game plan. What do you think?
I mean, well, yeah, the knitting and picking is about to get even more intense after the loss. I think you see, so last week they ran it 20 times in the second half when they're up by double digits, right? And Tampa Bay almost calls back and wins that game. I think you saw an overcorrection from the offensive staff this week. They wanted to keep their foot on the pedal, continue to push the ball down the field, and there were plays to be had. They very nearly made a bunch of big plays. They had one to Devontae Smith that got called back because of a penalty. Dotson had one really big, just missed on it. The A.J. Brown one, 2 strides for making a huge play down the field. There was a lot of plays there, and they just were a little bit off in sync. And, yeah, I think in hindsight, obviously, you wish that they would have got Hurts Barkley more involved in the second half.
Right.
But I think they had an overcorrection from the way it went in Tampa.
I got a question for you, JK. Where is so when you were there last year when we watched them, there was nuance to this run game.
Yeah.
It seems very vanilla and easy to defend. Like, take the Denver game, for instance. You have condensed formations. They crowd the box with 9 or 10 people, and you still try to run yourself into that. And I know it's Saquon Barkley, and I know it's Jalen Hurts. but it's got to be more than just the offensive line is not the same. What do you see schematically from this team that could potentially change and help them?
I think it was a little bit better actually this week against them. They didn't do it enough to really showcase it, but I do agree that I think early on they were doing a lot of these condensed formations with big personnel and trying to force it in.
Right.
And what the Eagles have done so good, and the reason the run game's been so phenomenal, is Jalen Hurts' ability to make reads and to let him be in a position to take what's available, right? And they've gotten away from that. They got a little bit back to it this last week. They had some reads at the ends and the tight end slipping out. And I think if they can control the backside of runs, whether it's the end, the backside backer with these RPOs, it just makes you defend the full width of the field, and that'll open up some more lanes for Saquon.
Meanwhile, Denver's probably wondering, when do you get to our part of the story? The resolve they showed. And Sean Payton is a guy that's got a wheelbarrow to carry around some brass. Okay, he's not afraid, and he's asked his team afterwards, what are you afraid of now? That's a win that tells you just exactly what they're made of. What did they show you, Ryan?
Well, I think the first thing is it tells you what sort of mindset they went into that game with, right? They went into that game saying this is a measuring stick of how good this young team can actually be. And let's think about why they only had 6 touches for Saquon Barkley this entire game. Because in the second half, there were 2 long drives by Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos, and they utilized their quarterback's ability to move. Cortland Sutton came up with big catches. And Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator, he brought blitz after blitz, simulated pressure after simulated pressure.
That's the big thing right now.
Yeah, he made Jalen Hurts make a play, right? And also he understood this is going to be Vance Joseph against first-year coordinator Kevin Patullo. What changes are you going to make? Because what I know is if I bring pressure, it's going to be a slant, a hitch, or a go ball. We're not going to get any creativity. And I trust number 2 on the back end of my team more than I trust anybody in the world. And so now we can try to work with Riley Moss on the other side.
Both on Saturdays and Sundays and now on Mondays. I love the chess matches we see from the DCs. Kansas City's got one tonight that's going to be fascinating to watch. What kind of pressure do you bring versus what you show? Those types of adjustments and the ability to figure out on the fly. Yep. I would guess.
Bringing the house.
I would guess. We got plenty of time to discuss. That's on Monday Night Countdown. The Travis Hunter situation is Sunday Business Park. Check that box. How are you? I'm Scott Van Pelt. We are your Monday Night Countdown crew. Fellas, we good to go?
Everybody's ready to roll.
In a proper state of mind.
Jason came out dressed like Travis Kelce. I know not Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry. Patrick Mahomes.
Hey,
Scott.
I don't know who I'd rather dress like. They're both good.
They both clean.
Better than Jason
When Mike and Tony leave PTI, he say Scott and the rest of the crew. It really makes me feel like it's like David Ruffin, and that's the Temptations.
Hey, ain't nobody come here to see you, Otis. I knew Scott would have
This is a collaboration right here, and we have got a great game to collaborate upon. Hey, Ryan, your storyline.
But for me, it's going to be this Jaguars defense with 13 turnovers this season, and they're led by linebacker Devin Lloyd. Here you see him picking off Jake Browning and making a big play. On the back end, Jordan Lewis. I know Marcus still misses him being a Dallas Cowboy leader in that secondary. He's playing corner. He's playing nickel. He's one of these team's leaders, and also he brings the energy. This is a pick against the Houston Texans. And up front, Josh Hines-Allen has 23 pressures on the year, half a sack here against the Houston Texans. And all up front, they've been eating, and there's been a meeting at the quarterback along with Trayvon Walker.
I'm going Kansas City. The old Steve Spagnuolo is back. It took him 1 week to get some speed on offense and get some points and get ahead, and now he starts to bring the pain. But my man Leo Chenal was phenomenal. Him and Bowden are starting to recreate themselves as what we've known them to be. Here you see him being the spy, slowing Lamar Jackson up on that fumble. This is phenomenal defense by the Kansas City Chiefs. They are now starting to turn the football over. You get him in a one-on-one, man-to-man situation with Mark Andrews. He has the first read this play. You see Mark Andrews trying to get out physical at the point of attack. Now you run with him, and this will make my dog Ryan Clark happy.
One hand.
How he sees the ball turn and pick it off. The Kansas City Chiefs defense is taking the football away.
I'm going Xavier Worthy right here. You're going to see him in motion, a little man zone indicator. Pat sees that Humphries is running with them, and Xavier Worthy. We talked about the Chiefs lacking explosiveness. He's an explosive player right here, right down the middle field, runs right by him. Great ball by Pat. And he's dynamic. You can use him in multiple ways. Here we're going to see early in the game, 4th down, they're going to go for it. Another man zone indicator. They know it's man coverage. They got the rub route on. And who do they go to when they need to have it? They go to Xavier Worthy here on the rub route, and they pick up the first. Later in the game, probably the biggest play of the game, They're going to do this end around here with Xavier over here on the right. And they're going to hide it with this motion, these pullers. All the action is telling you this play's going to the right side. And now they got Xavier coming out on the left with speed. And check out my big man. I'm always going to point out the big men downfield. Josh Simmons, rookie, getting a good block down the field, springing Xavier for an even bigger gain. He was dynamic. And here, little decoy action. He's in the backfield. He's not a running back. Why is he back there? Well, Pat is going to fake it over here, do a little rollout. They catch him in 0, and Hollywood Brown in for 6. They had a lot designed around that kid last week, and it was the Kansas City Chiefs offensive hold.
It's amazing to see how his speed and the threat of his speed impacts the defense. And with that in mind, we welcome in Adam